Hey, this is Cory Boldroff, the real estate guy, and this is July's monthly market update. We do these market updates to keep you informed, educated on what's going on with the market, so you can keep away from the doom and gloom that the media tries to spew. And I'll actually show you real facts, stats, and markets and graphs so that you can be educated and know what's going on with your market and the real estate market in a whole. If you do like these videos, please follow me on YouTube, like my business page, share it with a friend, and as always, I'm always here to answer any of your questions with no obligations to use me as a real estate agent. This is July 2020. We are coming out of the COVID pandemic with a little bit of a relapse. But the market is doing all good things. Let's get into it. So as always, we are going to start off with the unemployment and how it's affecting it, because that is one of the biggest drivers in our market, in our economy, and in the real estate market as a whole. So there was consensus that there was going to be 3 million jobs added in June, and actually we superseded them by over 50%, and we had 4.8 million jobs were added. Now, these were just temporary jobs that were given back to the employees, so this is not new jobs that were manufactured. There was a little bit of segment of Amazon who they actually did a lot of hiring during this time, but most companies just brought back their employees. When we want to look deep into the jobs that are actually gained, we said before that a lot of these service and retail-oriented businesses, they lost their job because the government shut them down. Now, as the restrictions have been lifted and or businesses have been able to find a way to safely put back their businesses and their employees and allow consumers to safely shop, we've actually seen a good spike across the board. So 2.1 was in the leisure and hospitality. Then we go into retail, education, health services, other services, professional services like myself. So we are starting to see a lot of people getting back their jobs, which is all good news, guys. According to the BLS unemployment rate as reported, we were at one of the lowest unemployment rates in January, February. As we came into the safer at home orders, we started seeing a spike, and then in April we saw a huge spike in unemployment due to the government shutting down a lot of our businesses. We got up to 14.7%, but since that point in time, we've slowly started to get back our jobs. And I shouldn't even say slowly. We've actually been in a V-shaped recovery, so we've seen a lot of people getting back their jobs, which is, again, all good news. One of the things that we wanted to highlight is that there are 11.1% of people that are unemployed, but that means that there's 88.9% that are actually still employed or got back their employment. So there are still a lot of Americans who are able and willing to work who have a job. Now, 11.1% is nothing to be happy about, and my heart goes out for the people that are still experiencing unemployment. Now, as we shift to where we saw the employees and their employers, how they felt about their loss of their job, we actually saw a pretty steep incline of people who thought they were going to get their jobs back, or the employers who thought they were going to be able to bring back their jobs. It's now looking like it might be more of a permanent thing for 40% of the unemployment population. Some of this is due to businesses that actually have gone out of business during this time. A lot of small businesses couldn't survive being out of business for 3 to 4 months. Even some big businesses like some gyms and some service-oriented and membership-based businesses, they've seen, unfortunately, going out of business. Now we're hoping that the government can come to the rescue in some sort of way, since they are part of the reason why these businesses were not allowed to be in business. But again, that's up to our politicians and how we're going to go about that part of it. According to the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. job growth surged last month, underscoring the economy's capacity for a quick rebound if businesses continue to reopen and consumers regain confidence. Now, due to the recent coronavirus spike and starting to see some states going backwards, this could undermine the trends captured in the latest jobs report. but we're going to keep up on that and we will inform you of what's been going on. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Indeed economics Jed Golko said as temporary unemployment drops, permanent job losses keep rising. A core unemployment rate, which subtracts temporary layoffs and adds unemployed who didn't search for a job recently, jumped to 5.9% in June, which is at 5% from May. So we did see an uptick in the permanent job loss, which is a little bit disheartening. But we're hoping that as the states reopen back up, businesses get access to the CARE Act and different stimulus packages that have been put in place. We're hoping that those businesses and jobs do come back in full. When we're talking about the core unemployment rate, we have been as high as 10.5% in 2010. And when we came into December 2019, we were at one of the lowest unemployment rates that we've been in the history of our country, at least since the unemployment rate has been established. In April, we saw a spike up of 4.6%, then in May at 5%, and now in June it's 5.9%. So we are seeing an increasing number of unemployment that looks like it's going to be a little bit long-term or a little bit more permanent. But hopefully as ingenuity comes in, businesses get back in, there's more jobs that are actually created and not just brought back. When we look at the, kind of what's been going on, and there's a lot of doom and gloom and a lot of reporting being done that we're going to have this huge foreclosure market coming up in the near future, I just want to kind of really look at where the forbearances are. Because right now they're legally not allowed to start a foreclosure due to COVID. So of all the active forbearances, which are past due on their mortgage payment, 77% have at least 20% in equity. So what this will do is not put us in a situation like 2008 where there wasn't a lot of equity in people's homes. It gives them options. So if we took a $400,000 house and they at least had 20% of equity, that's $80,000 in equity they have. Most homeowners will decide to take the option of selling that home, or possibly maybe once they get their job back, they can refinance, take out some of that cash, and be back into a healthy standpoint in their homes. When we look at how many people, there's actually 18% of people who have over 20 to 30% of equity, and there's over 13% that have at least 10 to 20% of equity. So what this says is that 90% of homeowners actually have more than 10% of equity in their home, leaving in a situation where they could sell without doing a short sale and still walk away with money, which is the best situation that a homeowner can be in if they're at a job loss and starting to get behind on their payments. According to Black Knight, the high level of equity provides options for homeowners, policymakers, mortgage investors, and services in helping to avoid a downstream in foreclosure activity and default related to losses. So we're in a position, unlike 2008, this was not created from the economy crashing. This was the government shutting down our businesses, and now people are trying to find ways to get back up on their feet as their jobs come back and seeing how long they need to be in this situation. 80% of home sellers are concerned their home won't sell because the pandemic results into an economic recession. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of this is from the doom and gloom that the media spews out there, because homes are still selling. 372,000 homes sold last month. We're actually seeing a huge buyer demand. Homes that are priced right, prepped right, and marketed right are selling sometimes the same day they put on the market, depending on their price point. So it's really important about the realtor that you have during this time that really understands how to connect buyers and sellers at this time. It's no longer can you just put on the MLS and think it's going to sell. You really need to have a full strategic plan and reach in buyers during this time, but the demand is very, very high. According to Mark Fleming, the chief economist at First American, as we navigate the unprecedented impact of COVID-19, home has taken an added significance, and there are signs that the homeownership remains one of the main tenets of the American dream. In a nutshell, we've seen a lot of consumer confidence in the real estate market as being one of the best investments that you could possibly be. And even during this COVID unknown times, homes are still appreciating in price, even with the economy in a flux and maybe headed into a recession. When we look at the showings in North America, we had a huge demand and spike in January and February that we usually don't see until May and April, or April and May. Then obviously during March, April, we saw a huge decline when we weren't even allowed to show homes, when people are losing homes, and the unknown was definitely out there. But since towards the end of April, we've seen a huge spike in the showings. So buyers are out there either virtually looking at homes, physically being in a safe environment to be able to see the homes, and we've seen a huge spike and demand that we have not seen in a very, very long time of showings for homes that are on the market. The year-over-year change in buyer viewing appointments, virtual and in-person combined, is up 21.4% from this time last year. So it means that more people are looking for homes than there were last year. The buyer demand is through the roof. I say if someone was unhappy with their home, they're really unhappy with their home. So this is a huge, great outlook on the buyer demand, and for sellers to know that you can put your house on the market with the right agent. We can safely show your homes to buyers, either virtually or in person, and our homes are still moving. And this is across the world, the board, from the Northeast all the way to the West. We've seen this huge spike in people looking for homes. So when looking at the Housing Market Recovery Index, we want to really combine 4 different things. The demand. So the buyer demand is through the roof right now. Again, low interest rates are driving it. People being unhappy with where they live and starting to look for a bigger home or maybe a different floor plan. The supply. There is a very crisis low inventory. There's not a lot of houses on the market. So that's also driving the appreciation in prices. Prices, they're slowly and steadily increasing, but we're not having huge increases, and we're definitely not seeing huge price reductions unless you have a bad realtor that wasn't marketing your house right, or it was overpriced to begin with. And time in the market, homes are selling rather quickly if they're priced right and the home is prepared right. New pending sales are up 18% from month over month, and new listings are up 5.2%. So what this is saying that we're actually selling homes faster than we're replenishing them. But compared to last year, this time, listings are down 20.7% and new listings taken are down 16.6%. So again, there's just not a lot of competition. There are a lot of sellers that are still in the unknown and maybe do not want people going through their home, but they're unaware that there are ways and tools and technology to allow people to sell a home without actually physically allowing anyone inside of the home. So reach out to your realtor or reach out to me, and I can help you, show you that there are ways to put buyers and sellers together, kind of like a Match.com of housing, where we virtually connect buyers and sellers, and once we see that there's a good fit and a seriousness to commit to buying the home, then we can actually do the in-physical homes in a safe manner. The year-over-year change in listings, again, this is just another way to show it that the total listings are down and new listings are down from this time last year. We are seeing a little uptick happen through the end of June, and we see that to build as we go through July, but I wanted to kind of show this in a different graph, in a different light. So when we look at the inventory as a percentage of households, is half of the long run average. So the long run average is about 2.4% of homes are on the market. Right now we're at 1.2%. So we're 50% the normal inventory of housing that we need or that we're used to in normal markets. So again, if you're thinking about selling, there's not a lot of competition on the market, and you'll be able to get more for your home right now than you may as competition comes up in the future. We want to always look at what the home price is projected to continue to appreciate. 5 of the 6 see appreciation happening this year. 6 of the 6 see appreciation happening next year. Most of them see an appreciation of at least around 3%. And if not, most of them see over a 2% appreciation. So we still are slowly appreciating in home prices. Again, with the buyer demand being so high, inventory being so low, and people kind of being unhappy with where they're at, we're seeing this drive the prices. The severity of inventory tightness should remain a relatively benefit to home prices, but it is also a risk factor to the degree of rebound in unit sales going forward, according to Zelman Associates and the broker report. So basically what this is saying, that although the low inventory and the demand are helping prices rise, it's going to still limit the economy coming back in full and the real estate market being a driving force in that economy recovery, because there's just not enough inventory to really make a huge dramatic difference. So the more houses we see come on the market, the actual more benefit it is going to be our economy as a whole, and we do foresee that happening as all these safer homes are lifted and we figure out a safe way to conduct business and live our lives with this COVID. The housing market is likely to benefit from low mortgage rates, stronger demand for larger spaces as more and more people work from home, and a desire to move away from crowded cities to avoid exposures to coronavirus, according to Rubella Faroki, the economist at High Frequency Economics. Nearly 30% of respondents live in a high-density urban area, say that the pandemic is prompting them to want to move by the end of the year. This is more than double the rate of those living in rural parts of the country, where residents are much more likely to stay rather than to relocate. So here's another graph. Buyers showing a greater desire for non-urban properties. So demand for rural properties is up 16%, in suburban areas is up 13%, and in urban areas it's up 7%. So there's definitely a shift that's going to be happening, where people are going to move outside of the cities to suburban and rural areas, increasing the prices on the outside and maybe even lowering the prices on the inside of the urban areas. According to Danielle Hale, the chief economic at Realtor.com, much like the suburbs are gaining favor with home shoppers, second home markets are seeing an increased interest from luxury buyers. The Suffolk County in New York, homes to the Hamptons, Palm Springs in Riverside County, California, and Greenwich, Fairfield County, Connecticut, are all second home markets, ranking among the top 5 markets with the largest increase in listing view growth in May. Views of luxury properties accelerated by 56% in the Hamptons, 28% in Palm Springs, and 20% in Greenwich compared to January trends. So that we're seeing that more and more people are wanting to look for ways to get out of the urban areas and maybe have safer at home shelters outside in more rural, low density population areas. According to the Zillow report, since the pandemic altered what buyers value in their homes, builders are predicting how future homes will change as a result and what people will want moving forward. As people spend more and more time at their home during the pandemic, buyers are realizing which features of their homes are working and which are not. Builders predict open concept floor plans will be a thing of the past, as people now value more walls, doors, and overall privacy, as some of them are working from home or stuck at home and just want the separation inside of the home. New construction, which offers the chance to personalize home features, saw its listing page grow by 73% over last May. On that note, I do a dream home program where we treat every home like a new construction home, so we can change the floor plan, remodel the home. Doesn't matter where it's at, which neighborhood, we can make that happen all within inside escrow. Just like new construction has been done for decades, now we're doing it for homes that are already built. It's a great program. Let me know if you're interested in it. So that was July's monthly market update, and hope you guys found it useful. If you want me to give you an in-depth look about what's going on in your community, just give me a jingle, send me an email, a text, reach out to me on social media, and I'll get you an in-depth look about what's going on with your neighborhood. If you want to know what's going on with your house, I can give you a free, no obligation consultation to see what your home value is and to see if it's a good idea to refinance, maybe sell, maybe turn it into a long-term rental. You let me know how I can help you out. There's never any obligation, just some friendly advice with some expertise, education, and knowledge put behind it. I again thank you guys for all your support. Please remember to follow me on YouTube, like, subscribe, visit my business pages. Again, thank you guys all, and I hope above all else you guys are staying safe and healthy during this time. And again, as always, if there's any way I can possibly help you out, it does not have to be real estate related. Please let me know. I've been blessed, me and my family have been blessed, and I want to be able to find ways to help share and care that blessings with others. So please don't be, too proud to let me know. If there's anything at all that you guys need that I can help you out with, please let me know. Till next time, Cory Boldroff, the Real Estate Guy.